they do it? Why does Seen It All A&E personnel from Auckland, emeritus petrol pump attendants from Council Bluffs, cartilage-splattered abattoir operatives from Manitoba, butch sous chefs from Wagga Wagga, hard-cottaging marine mechanics from the Tigray Delta, leather-skinned coiffeurs from Port Moresby, cynical lawyers from Boston?
Why do they do it? Why do they come to Scotland in search of their ancestors, who are no more than mere names? They pore over all but illegible faded copperplate in parish registers, with scant regard for the damage inflicted on their eyes.
They scrape the lichen from headstones.
They walk beside burns where someone with rickets, who 2 centuries ago happened to share 100% of their mother's surname and 1.575% of their DNA, might, just might, have walked in inadequate footwear beside that sheep's ancestor. What's the matter with them? What is this obsession with roots? And why is Scotland world leader in the roots caper?
Why Scotland? Because Scotland's chief export, like the Basque provinces, like the Auvergnes, like the Campagnas, has always been people. Brain, muscle, cannon fodder. Powerful Scots send humbler Scots to die in distant countries. People leave in search of a living wage, a better life, the chance of material improvement. It's largely a matter of economic survival, partly, too, of the desire to seek a bigger stage. Scotland has seldom been able to provide for all of its people, so they make a hard-nosed decision to leave.
And their descendants make the soft-nosed decision to come back, to coet the quaintness, and to delude themselves that they are somehow connected to the place. The stuff in their veins is blood group MAC. When they bleed tartan blood.
Scotland's tourist industry naturally encourages this genealogical inquiry. Indeed, Scottish tourism is founded on the obsession with burrowing for old bones. This year is the year of something called homecoming, a summer-long orgy of golf, whiskey, tartan, cabers, kilts, pipes. A parallel world of cliché, pure corn, fabrication and income. The internet has been a great boon to fans of pornography and to amateur genealogists. One pursuit will make you go blind. The other will merely boost sales of super-strength Kleenex man-sized New Labour expenses wipes. The principle of pornography is incremental. There must always be more participants, more contortions. The same applies to genealogy. The past has a past, has a past, has a past. It's not enough to stop when you've discovered your great-great-great-great-grandmother's birth certificate. You have to find her mother, and her father, and her father's 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 christening mug with the dent from the Big Bang. It's a sort of addiction.
Best never to get started, for at the very heart of this dismal enterprise lies a sort of recessive communitarianism, an ancient tribalism, a literal backwardness. We demean ourselves if we define ourselves by the community that we supposedly belong to, whether that alleged community is determined by religion, skin colour, regional accent, political persuasion, football club allegiance, or any other criterion.
And in tracking down our ancestors, we're simply subscribing to another way of defining ourselves by group or clan. We are creating a new file, a new enclosure, a new separateness. We're also kidding ourselves, telling ourselves a lie of the old days. we have the good fortune to speak a language which, unlike Arabic or Sicilian, has a future tense.
My maternal great-grandparents were both born and brought up in this Stirling suburb, St Ninians. My mother spent childhood holidays with their extended families in the neighbouring boroughs of Dunblane and Bridge of Allen, whose grand villas they cannot possibly have aspired to.
She and her sister had to sleep in a button bed, a niche next to the oven. It was an arrangement akin to that used by Kazakhs and Turkmenis, who placed pallet-like constructions over ovens. This ad hoc bucolic alcove would come to be formalised as a built-in feature of many Glasgow tenements.
Beard, Guinness, McAllister, Taylor,
Baird, McInnes, McAllister, Taylor. I know my forebears' names, but they don't touch me. The former Stirling High School was a work of James McLaren, who died in his mid-30s, leaving behind a mere handful of exquisite buildings. They are much more interesting to me than tiresome tales of the Taylor brothers' elaborate ruses to prevent their parents discovering their chronic truancy.
The Wallace Monument's archivist is unable to confirm that my great-great-grandfather was its first keeper. That, however, was what my mother told me. Keeper means caretaker, janitor, hardly then a boast that anyone would bother to make up. So I guess it's true if unproven. That frail familial link does not dissuade me from the conviction that this astounding structure commemorates a murderous medieval terrorist. It is the supreme architectural emblem of Scotland's dodgily fabricated past. Brute force in the service of gross sentimentality and mawkish victimhood.
The lavish heredities that homecomers weave for themselves are as predictable as tartan and as bogus as Highland Games. They perpetuate the myth of a land as sloppily counterfeit as Merry England, a land that hardly was, a dead land, a millstone, all those Bairds and Taylors, McInneses and McAllisters stretching back to elemental mulch.
There are other Scotlands, vital, living, untarnished by Walter Scottishness. Places of the strangest energy and greatest delight. Time for a rebirth. Places that have no ancestral claim on us, where the yoke of a ready-made collective history is absent, which we can talk of in the future perfect rather than the past historic. Places that we can elect to go towards rather than come from. Places which are potential, where anything is possible, where everything is waiting to happen.